Buenas tardes, estamos en una nueva entrevista acá en el set de televisión. Tenemos el honor de estar charlando con Elizabeth Yee. Hi Elizabeth, it's a really pleasure to have you here.
It's nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Well, I wanted to ask you, why is the Rockefeller Foundation expanding its engagement here in Latin America and also the Caribbean?
We're very excited to do that. We'll actually be formally opening our office in December in the region, in Bogota. The region is really important for so many different reasons, and our foundation is very focused on climate and making sure that people are at the core of it. And there's no more important region than Latin America and Caribbean region. It's home to 50% of the world's biodiversity. It is also a region that is experiencing significant income inequality and social inequality. And so those forces together are really important to make sure that we deliver and build a more equitable world. And so that's why we felt it was very important to be in the region. I would also just say, from a personal experience, I think the spirit and culture of Latin America and the Caribbean and the spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship is just so important, and that is exactly what we need at this time in terms of making sure that we continue to deliver on climate, to make sure that we actually build an ambitious climate agenda and deliver on it.
Well, I'm from Argentina, so it's really nice to hear you telling this. I'm very happy.
Good.
How does people-centered climate action guide the foundation's work across its key priorities here in Latin America and the Caribbean region?
Sure. So the foundation was created 113 years ago, and I think what's really interesting is our first grant that we made in the region was in 1914 to ensure public health. And as you can tell from that moment, we've always been focused on people. In fact, the mission of the foundation is deliver the well-being of humanity. So we have to put people at the core of everything we do and how we focus. And so when we talk about climate, it's not about necessarily just mitigation or just adaptation. It's about development. It's about making sure that people have the opportunity to thrive and survive no matter what the conditions are. And so what we want to do is deliver and build a more resilient world.
It's really a challenge, right?
Yes.
It's a big challenge.
Yes.
As a new regional player here, what role does the Rockefeller Foundation envision for itself here?
In the region. So I think we have a number of different roles that I think we can play. I'm sorry, it's very hard to hear.
Okay, yes. I know, it's difficult.
I think we have a number of different roles that I think we can play as an institution, and I'm very proud that we now have a new head of region, Liana Latorre, who is helping drive that vision for the region. So, one thing that we can help do is make sure that we bring people together. We talk about that as the connection part is a core part of our work because it allows coordination towards impact. I think the other thing that we can do is continue to invest and make sure that we bring and partner with others from a local philanthropic level to a global philanthropic level, and most importantly, listen to communities on the ground to understand what the impact is that they want to see and help support the delivery of that, and also work at the national level. So I think that connection and investing to make sure that we do that work is really important. And then we also want to make sure that we work with actors like CAF and others in the region to really drive and use our capital in the most catalytic way. We've always been at the core of our work, a grant maker. This is an opportunity to re-envision how capital is delivered. So yes, always to grant making, but can we also look at making sure that we use our capital catalytically to invest in new structures, to use it potentially as grant guarantees, or to help de-risk structures so that progress can be made. And then also just using our platform to make sure that we take and learn from the lessons in the region and impart them to the world, and then also bring them back in. So it's a really circular symbiotic motion that we want to have happen, that we want to deliver on for the region.
Okay. What are your reflections of the conference here in Belém? And therefore, what do you hope to outcome is?
Progress. We were talking about it before at the start of it. COP is when the world comes together to share ideas, to talk about the work that people are doing, to build the partnerships of the future that we need to have happen to deliver on progress. And so I hope that in this moment, what we will take away, and what I'm already feeling, this isn't, you asked me, is this my first COP? This isn't my first COP. What I see happening is this real commitment to action. People, certainly we all need frameworks for cooperation because they help guide us and they help coordinate us. But I'm hearing people talk about, here's what I'm doing. What are you learning? How can I move faster? What can I do to be creative? Because the world that we are going to be, that we're living in now, and that we are going to be living in, require new ways of thinking and new frameworks and new ways of implementation. And I see that and I hear that happening in the corridors here.
And do you find anything different in this COP?
In this COP? I mean, I think that I was at a session earlier today that was talking about the socio-bioeconomy. I think we've heard that word before, but to see emphasis being placed on this as a real opportunity to be able to reimagine jobs, to really think about what needs to happen, because we need to more deeply incorporate nature and the environment into the decisions we make in everything that we do. And so that people and that Brazil is leading the way and making sure that we think about that at the core and figuring out how we actually build that new economy is really, really exciting and important. And we're very interested in supporting that work.
Right. It would be great if nature have a voice, right?
Yes, yes. And an investment pathway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what role does innovation play in advancing the Rockefeller Foundation mission in the region?
So innovation is at the heart of everything that we do. It isn't always necessarily about the new, most innovative, creative widget. We certainly are thinking about, for example, the impact of AI and how we actually make it more equitable, for sure. It's also in the how you do things that innovation can happen. So one thing that we're working on very closely in partnership with other countries in the region is this idea of regenerative school meals. The reason why we say that is about several hundred million children rely on school meals as either a primary source of nutrition or a very important part of their day. It also represents somewhere between 60 and 70% of a government's national food procurement budget. When we know that a third of global emissions come from the food sector, that really deep opportunity to use school meals as a lever for change against food systems transformation, while also ensuring that we are providing children with better nutrition and the food security of the future, is a really important concept. And most importantly, at the same time, that we're ensuring that farmers and farmer livelihoods are supported. So I offer that as a way of thinking more innovative, in a more innovative way, because it's not just about school meals. School meals are more than just the meal on the plate. It is a real opportunity to make sure that we lift up farmers and create a sustainable food supply, that we ensure children have access to sustainable nutrition, and that we build a more resilient food system overall. So that's some of the innovations, for example, that Rockefeller is taking on by putting both climate and people at the center of what we do.
Well, you are making a great job.
We're trying.
Yes, you are. Well, Elizabeth, tell us, what is the foundation working in now?
We're working on a number of different things. So our big programs are in food systems transformation, energy access and transition, and abundance, and health. And so in each of those, we have a very strong climate focus that is centered around people. So one of the things I was sharing earlier this morning was the work that we're doing on extreme heat. It affects many people around the world, and in cities in particular. And so one thing that we announced in Rio last Monday was a partnership with C40 and Climate Works Foundation to deliver something called the Cool Cities Accelerator, which is working with 33 cities around the world. It's about 150 million people who are experiencing the effects of extreme heat. And what we are doing is working with mayors and local governments to make sure that those communities are protected from the ravages of extreme heat. Just to give you a sense, I think a lot of people probably don't know, extreme heat is really impacting our economic outcomes. It has taken away about 600 billion work hours. It's cost last year over $1 trillion in lost income. And that is most pronounced in cities because of the urban heat island effect, which makes the temperature somewhere between 1 and 22 degrees warmer than in peri-urban or rural communities. And so what mayors are trying to do is make sure that they deliver the new zoning requirements, change policies, introduce new greenscapes and landscapes, new building materials, to make sure that their communities are protected from heat, because that will continue to be a threat as the temperature continues to increase.
Thank you so much for being here. It was really a pleasure for me.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Bueno, eso fue un poco la entrevista que tuvimos con Elizabeth Yee. Muy contentos, así que síganos en nuestras redes sociales para estar al tanto de más.